This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening. This is Jack from Charting the Markets, and this is the Bigger Picture webinar for Wednesday, the 23rd of October. My disclaimer, I do this for educational purposes only. I'm here to share my technical analysis with you. I hope you can take some of what I'm doing, learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. I'm not here to issue trading signals. Right. Okay, we saw a decent move down today. That got us down slightly through the rising support on ES. And obviously, we've got a double top that's broken down. I've been talking about this for the last couple of days. And it's got alternate targets, which are in the 57.95 area, not quite reached today, and then the 57.80 area. So not seeing any. Obviously, we got pretty oversold on the hourly RSI, but we didn't get any positive divergence, and I'm watching for that to develop. We could go up directly from here, but I've got to say we've still got some targets which may well need to be made. And I'm thinking we may well go a bit lower. NQ, again, steep day, did quite a lot of damage below the 30 level on the hourly RSI. Nice rally towards the close. No current positive divergence as well, and looking for some of that to develop. We haven't got any obvious target here because there was no topping pattern. All right, RTY. RTY has gone lower. We reached the monthly pivot, which is an obvious support level. We've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. Do we have a level below which I'm watching? Yes, we do. And it's this level here at this low in the 2180 area. This is potential larger double top resistance, although it's not a great setup. And I'm skeptical about it delivering much. But it could be that we're going to head to that level and possibly break below it. YM, no current divergence. Nice move down. Again, we've got a double top that's broken down here. Again, it hasn't made either of the targets. I've got those targets in the 42.418 and in the 42.274 areas. So waiting to see if we get positive divergence. So we've got an open target below there. We've got an open target below on ES, and we've got another open target below on DAX. We'll see how this does tomorrow, but if we are going to make those targets, we are going to need to go a bit lower. On DAX, we've got a weak 60-minute buy signal that's fixed. Obviously, we've got the positive divergence on RTY as well. On ESTX, didn't really move a great deal today. Not a lot to say. No topping pattern here, no divergence either. So we'll see. All right, let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. Right, looking at the SPX chart, the ES chart, the RSI 5 sell signal has now reached the possible near miss target. On the SPY chart, the weak RSI 5 sell signal has fixed, but has not quite yet reached the possible near miss target. This is suggesting a little more downside. We tested the daily middle band at the low today and closed back above it. Obviously, this is a key support area. Looking at the hourly chart, no current divergence. We didn't obviously quite reach the rising support trend line, but obviously we have broken down from the double top and we are well short of the targets, much further than we are on the ES chart. Watching, there is a very obvious target to retest this trend line here in the 572.5 area on SPY. We'll see how it goes. All right, on the Qs, we saw a break and a close below the daily middle band today. Now, this is actually fairly significant looking because we've had 3 tests of this in the last 6 weeks and they've all held perfectly, but we saw a close below today, waiting to see if we get a confirming close below it tomorrow. But to be honest, it's the only one where the daily middle band is breaking down so far, I think. Possibly might have IWM as well, actually. We will see. All right, didn't reach wedge resistance here. Both of these rising wedges have little overthrows, suggesting that they might break down if support is reached. All right, looking at Dia, the RSI 5 sell signal has now reached the possible near miss target. So it doesn't need to go down any further. We broke below the daily middle band and closed on it. Daily middle band closed at 45.45. Yeah, we closed marginally below it, but effectively that is a close on it. On the hourly chart, no current divergence. On the 15-minute chart, we've got an RSI 14 buy signal fixed that managed to avoid failing during the day, despite the fact we went significantly lower. And we've got an RSI 5 buy signal fixed. Actually, looking closely at this actually is not a double top. This is a Head and Shoulders. So hang on, I'm just gonna give you an exact target on that. So bear with me a second. Right. Okay. Because I gave you exact targets on the future, but really this is the dog and the future is the tail. So this is the real target, and that I've got a target in about the 41 area. On Dia, we got down to 42.92 today. Again, it hasn't made target. It's a nice looking pattern, and I'd be leaning towards it making target. So we'll see whether that happens tomorrow, because it would be likely to happen tomorrow. All right, looking at IWM. IWM on the 15-minute chart, we've broken below this support here, and we've broken below the short-term rising support trend line. I do have a larger potential support trend line down here in the 211 area. That's still quite a distance away, and I'm doubtful about reaching it. On the hourly chart, again, we can set up some positive divergence on the RSI 14 with a retested low. We've already got some on the RSI 5, and that is a signal that's brewing and almost fixed at the close. Looking at the daily chart, we had an open below the daily middle band and a clear close below it. So we've got 2 breaks below the daily middle band today, and we'll be waiting to see if either or both of those confirm tomorrow. We will see. All right, great. Just a quick look at DAX. Testing the daily middle band, no break. Nikkei, this is already broken below the daily middle band. Not really reading a huge amount into it, but we are getting pretty close to the daily lower band, just because the bands have been compressing a lot, so they are not actually very far apart. Okay, great. Let's have a look at the DX chart. Okay, DX and bonds. DX went up and got to the 104.4 area. This is 104.45, and this is potentially a very significant looking area. We've got no negative divergence here, but on the currencies, we are starting to develop quite a lot of negative divergence. On DX and positive divergence, so obviously some of the currency pairs against it. Now, on ZB, we've got a weak 6-minute buy signal fix, which has delivered absolutely nothing so far. But both of these have divergence, which is interesting. Let's have a look at the US dollar first. Okay, on DX, we don't have anything on the RSI 14, but we've now got a nice looking and pretty solid looking possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing on the daily chart. Now, a few weeks ago, when we first formed this trend line here, I did say that these trend lines tended to come in pairs, and if it held, then the obvious place to go would actually be to touch this trend line here in the 104.7 area. Obviously, we're almost there, but we haven't quite touched it yet. That is still very much a target, and it would need to go a little higher to reach it. But we got a lot of negative divergence there. Not so much on the RSI 14 as yet, although we could develop that, but we've certainly got it in the RSI 5. Looking at the DX chart, we've got it on RSI 5 and RSI 14. This is a nice looking divergence setup. Going through the other currencies, Euro, possible on the daily chart, possible RSI 14 buy signal brewing, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing. GBP, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing. USD JPY, the buy signal that we had on the RSI 14 has now made target, and we've broken up from this double bottom with targets considerably higher, so watching to see if they can make those. In the meantime, we actually had an RSI 5 sell signal fix, and that has failed, so no current divergence on USD JPY. On USD CAD, possible RSI 14 sell signal brewing, possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. Sorry, I'll just edit that to show the correct notation. Wait a second. Right. So that is what I'm saying is there's quite a lot of divergence suggesting that we might see a turn in DX soon, and we are coming up to a very obvious level to see that reversal. And we're very close to it. So watching to see if that happens. USD CAD, Australian dollar, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing. NZ, possible RSI 5 buy signal brewing. The only sell signal that hasn't made target yet is the weak RSI 14 sell signal on Australian dollar. But if we could have, basically, if we see some reversal on the dollar down here, then we could get a whole slew of supporting daily signals fixing, and generally speaking, that would have an impact. All right, looking at the TNX chart, no divergence on the early RSI 14, but we do have an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, which is obviously modestly bullish for ZB. On the TNX chart, we've got a possible RSI 5 sell signal brewing. If that fixes, that would be significantly bullish for ZB. So watching C again. There's the whiff of a reversal in the air. We will see. All right. Okay. Let's roll on to energies.
This conference will now be recorded.
Right, now looking at oil, we had a rather ugly looking double bottom break up. We had broken up over the week to pivot and back tested it, so we're holding over 70 at the moment. I've got a lot more to say about this on the daily chart. Looking at NG, nice little rally here. Mainly towards the end of the day, we'd be forming this little bull flag. It broke up. I've got a possible resistance level in the 3 area, which I'll be watching, but I've got a lot more to say about this and the triangle setup that we've potentially got on the chart. I've rolled this into December early. I'm thinking the correct day for the roll will either be tomorrow or Wednesday. But this will have an impact because the price on the index will rise by $0.50 in a day, and this is the reason for that. This is oil and CL tracked through. Obviously, every they change every month, and this is every month until the next year. If you have a look at the December contract versus the November contract, which is the current one, that actually goes up 55. That is not that unusual in the winter. We then go up another 25 or so into the January contract, and then it sort of drifts down into the summer, and then starts going up again in April, and trends up then from April, where we're at 2.894. Because remember, these are all effectively the same price. The only difference is the month the contract is in, and then it trends up another buck into December. So we are in this period, and actually, if you look at the November to December for next year now, then they are 37 apart. It's a bit more than that here, but this is the way it tends to go. Now this has an impact. I'm doing a post. I'm going to be doing a post tomorrow morning, or at least I have planned for tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, looking at the triangle on NG. So let's have a look at that now. And hang on, wait a second. Right. Okay, looking at oil. Oil, we've still got this triangle. It broke down. It's got a target down to 63.57. And geopolitics permitting, I'm still expecting it to make that target. If we see people start attacking oil refineries and other energy-producing assets in the Middle East, then obviously all bets are off. We could see big rises in oil and in natural gas, and that would be rationally based on the news. So we'll see how that goes. At the moment, we've got pretty firm resistance here at the 200 DMA, held here, and that's held the upside in the face of the news that we've had already, because we've had a fair amount of geopolitical news disturbance on the CL price. It keeps trying to go down again, and if we go a long enough period without anyone attacking anybody, I think we'll get back to 63.57 and set up a very nice looking double bottom. On that double bottom is the one I would show here. That's the triangle. This would be the retest. I've drawn in the arrows. If we saw an exact retest and we then saw a subsequent break over 95, then we would have a target in about the 127.5 area. And that could make target. That's basically a full retracement back to this high in the 130.50 area. All right, let's have a look at natural gas. Now there, obviously the triangle's an earlier stage. Okay, sorry, hang on. Now we've got an RSI 14 sell signal that's reached the possible near miss target. We don't have any divergence, but we obviously got pretty oversold on the daily RSI 5. And this is where the triangle is now. We will see how that goes from here, but as soon as we roll into November, the natural gas price is going to go from here 2.4 up to about 2.9. And that's going to get us pretty close to triangle resistance again. It could be that and news will break us up. Obviously, going down is going into kind of a headwind, basically up 55 in a couple of days, and then up another 25 in a month. And that obviously is a total of 80 cents upward. That has got to be, for it to go down, it's got to do that 80 cents and then do more. So that's a bit of a headwind. But what I am thinking is, if this triangle is still going at the end of January, if it's still going in a month and a half, then actually there's a pretty good chance this is going to finish forming and break down. So we will see how it goes. My lean would be that this would be a bearish triangle. Obviously, it could break up. In which case all bets are off. But if we break down and if we make low retest, we will get a really nice looking double bottom. And that double bottom, again, I've drawn it in like I've drawn it in on the oil chart. A sustained break up over 3.161 would get us back down up to about the 4.80 area, and that would be the 38.2 fib retracement of this move down from 10.028 to 1.52. So that would be a modest Fibonacci retracement and entirely within the realms of possibility. We will see how that develops. But obviously, if we start seeing major facilities, Israel could attack Iran. Iran has used its proxies to attack Saudi oil production before. If we start getting the rash of this in the Middle East, then all bets are off, and we could just go straight up. We will see. All right, great. Let's have a look at metals. GC. GC, we saw a bit of a breakdown below this rising support today. That's not particularly significant, I don't think, but mainly it is about the thrust up on DX. But obviously, as I'm noting, DX may be near the end of this move, and so in which case we're probably just forming a bull flag before this goes even higher. We will see. SI, possible head and shoulders forming, keeping an open mind, but we could see some more downside. Equally, if the dollar breaks up here, despite the negative divergence, then obviously we could see potentially quite a lot of upside. We will see. HG hasn't quite retested the low. If we do a retest of the low, and we set up a double bottom, and then the dollar turns, then I think this has got a pretty good chance of breaking up from this little double bottom, getting over the current monthly pivot level, and then getting back up to a retest of this high here in the 4.78 area. We will see how that goes. All right, great. Let's have a look at those on the bigger picture charts. And GC, no current divergence. So there are no signals here worth to mention. On the weekly chart, we did have a weekly RSI 5 sell signal, 14 sell signal fixed, and it failed. And we had an RSI 5 sell signal fixed, and that failed too. I've got my last possible trend line as resistance here at about the 28.30 area. We've gone through a number of trend lines already. I've got no particular confidence that this one's going to be the one, although it wouldn't be a bad one. We will see how that goes, but it wouldn't astound me to see it break over that too and head towards 3,000. All right, looking at silver. Silver, we've seen some pretty nice moves to the upside, getting very overbought on the RSI 5, but in terms of past highs on silver, not unduly so. We went up, we retested 32.75 as expected, and we have gone higher. What does that mean? Well, it means that we could just about still be forming a double top. Mainly, it means that we've gone through this resistance trend line that had been holding for a couple of months. Actually, it had been holding since March, April stroke May. All right, this opens the upside. Now, I have another possible trend line option here, and it's a really nice one. That one is in the 37.8 area at the moment, and that is the next level that I'm looking at. And I think if the dollar is going to turn in the fairly near future, which I'm thinking is probably more likely than not, then I'd be looking for that. And a break above that, well, that opens up a whole new world. Particularly, it opens up a trend line which would come from here, which would be less strong than this one here that we already have broken. And it opens up a possible retest after a long time of this high here in the 49.82 area. Now, just to put that in perspective, sorry, I only actually got a 20-year chart on this. I'm a bit surprised. I thought I would have a much longer one. So wait a second here. I'm just going to run this back 50 years. All right, this was a marginal new high in 2010 over this massive high in 1980, early 1980. It was marginal new high, and then obviously it came all the way back to 11 again. That is an obvious target for a retest, and then when we reach it, I'd be expecting it to go through it. I'm very bullish on silver on the bigger picture. We're going to see some big retracements and so on, but I'm very bullish on it, and I really like the upside here. Next obvious target is 37.8. A break over that potentially opens the upside a lot. All right, let's have a look at palladium. Palladium probably see a bit of a consolidation here, but mainly I think we're on the way back to retest this high here at 1126.50. On platinum, no current divergence, going higher, made it up to a retest of a 1030.80, and that means that this double bottom target is back on the table. That target is in the 107.3 to 108.1 area, and I think that target is doable over the next month or two if dollar does as I expect it to. All right, on copper, we've got a weak RSI 5 buy signal fixed. We'll see how it goes. I am liking the upside here. So we will see whether it delivers. I do not have a buy signal here on the index chart though, because it went slightly over 50 level. But I'm liking the upside here, and I think we're probably going to get that. GDX has gone considerably over the trendline resistance here, so this trend line is well and truly broken. No current negative divergence on the daily. Thinking we might see a pullback and a retest if we are going to see a retracement. A signal would be nice to see. On the hourly chart, we've got an RSI 14 sell signal fixed, and we're probably going to see some more retracement tomorrow. GDXJ, almost exactly the same. Same trend line broken, same rather overbought looking RSI 14 and RSI 5 short term. Again, no negative divergence. But again, I've got an RSI 14 sell signal that is fixed on the hourly chart, and chances are that we will see some follow through downside tomorrow. All right, let's have a look at the other commodities. So bear with me a second. All right, KC. KC, I would note, well, I've got more to say about this on the daily chart. This could well be a double bottom forming here, and actually, this could well be, this is actually on the daily chart a big trendline support test. It could well hold it. If that's the case, it's going to break back up over 256 with a target in about the 265 area, but really we may well be continuing and going considerably higher. Looking at the SB chart, still looks like a bull flag forming. Not a bad looking little double bottom that could get us back up to the highs if it ever wakes up and breaks up over resistance here in the 22.7 area. CC, we got a head and shoulders which is broken down basically at a target with a target to retest this low here at 68.50, and I'm not seeing anything compelling to say it isn't going to make that target, but we do have a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing on the hourly chart. On CT, broke up from this little double bottom. Obvious next move would take this back up into a retest of this high. We'll see how that goes. On wheat, I am wondering about all of the grains here. We are kicking along here. This could still be a bull flag, but I am wondering about it. I'd like to see some upside action if it is a bull flag, but it might not be. We've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed here. We made the upside targets. We've got a sell signal fixed, and we've got a 60-minute sell signal fixed on soy as well. They haven't actually delivered much yet, but I am wondering if we're about to see some retracement on all of the grains. Looking at lumber, still a long bullish consolidation which hasn't broken up yet. Obvious next target when it breaks up would be a retest of this high here at 538. Looking at live cattle, formed a very nice looking double top here, but my feeling is it's probably going to go higher. And lean hogs, which has been front running live cattle for a while here, has already gone higher. All right, great. Right, in that case, well, I think that is everything. So great. I will have this posted as soon as possible. I will catch all you guys tomorrow, and that is the reviews for tonight. Watch out for the post I'm planning to do tomorrow on the natural gas and CL triangles, and we will see how those goes. But as I said, this is a key moment for the natural gas triangle because we've got so much of a futures roll between November into December and then into January. That's pretty much the distance between triangle resistance and triangle support. It'll be interesting to see if it can get through that. It will take some fairly steady selling to do that. All right, great. Okay, catch you guys tomorrow.